Let me start the show off with a reminder to go check out my fantastic sponsor, PalomaVerdeCBD.com. They've got a new website, so go check it out. And if you enter in the promo code FACTS at checkout, you get a 25% discount. Carlos and Vanessa are awesome people. They have been really great to the Liberty Movement. They've sponsored a number of shows, not to mention the fact that the product is excellent. I've got the gummies and the tinctures that I use regularly. We're actually starting my son on a regimen of the gummies to try to help with some of his ADHD and IBS that he has issues with. My wife loves the salve. She's had back problems and shoulder problems, and we can rub that salve on her shoulders and it just makes everything feel infinitely better almost immediately. So please be sure to go over, check out Carlos and Vanessa at PalomaVerdeCBD.com. Enter in the promo code FACTS at checkout for 25% off your order. This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast. All right, Fact Check This podcast, episode 72. And I have been extremely clear, I think, at least for pretty much every episode of the show, that I really don't like to get real deep into conspiracy theory type stuff. Like, I do want the episodes to be based on facts and things that are verifiable. And there's been a whole lot of crazy shit going on just in the last 6 months. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Like, since Biden came into office, there's been a lot of stuff that you can't help but look at it and think there's something not right here. There's something going on behind the scenes or right in front of our fucking faces that really doesn't sit right. So right off the bat, and let's back it up, because it's not even just in the last 6 months. I mean, this goes all the way back to, the whole beginning of everything COVID. And it has become very clear since, all of the Fauci emails have come out, since the lab leak has been kind of verified. Like, with everything that's kind of happened over the last 2 or 3 weeks, it seems pretty apparent that it was all kind of a setup, right? Like, there's all this information and all this evidence that basically points to the fact that they knew what this was from the beginning, and they locked everything down anyway, which has sufficiently thrown a massive monkey wrench in everything. You're seeing computer chips. Like, computer chips are in a shortage. That's why nobody can get a PlayStation 5, or like, it's why the tech stuff is, like, all tech stuff is way behind. Nobody can get anything. You've got wood shortages from, and the wood shortages are kind of a twofold thing. But on the one hand, yes, it's because everybody decided to build a deck, build a fence. Everybody decided to, work on their house over the last year because they were locked at home and couldn't go anywhere and couldn't do anything. But at the same time, the supply side has been shut down because of the direct actions of the government shutting and locking everything down. So that's where you get all these shortages on everything. And the shortages are not because of the demand. The shortages are because of the government's response to something that they knew about anyway. It was a very blatant overreaction that was not based in reality whatsoever, and has been proven over and over again that it wasn't based in reality. So it's created all these shortages and stuff, while at the same time, they're created an extra demand by not allowing people to go anywhere, not allowing people to do anything, and pumping money into the economy for really for no reason really, other than to supplement the damage that they did. And it's not as if these stimulus checks have done anything to actually prop up the economy. It's not as if these stimulus checks have, by and large, gone to help people. Most of the people getting the stimulus checks are either people like me who worked this whole time and didn't need it, or people who have been getting way more money out of unemployment than what they would have at their regular job anyway, and didn't need it. I mean, it's all just an excuse to, in the name of helping, to inflate our currency, to run prices through the roof. I think this is all 100% deliberate. I don't think there's, I don't doubt that there are many politicians who are just complete fucking morons. But I think in the case of the way they're handling all of these crises and situations, I think it's very deliberate. I think they know exactly what they're doing, and that's the goal. The goal is to wreck the economy in every fucking way possible so that you have no choice but to be dependent on the government. And then we see like gas prices are $1 higher than they were this time a year ago. And it's not because of the summer surge thing. Like, this is $1 higher than the summer surge of last year. So what you're seeing, and like, Biden comes in and shuts down pipelines, shuts down fracking, like, goes deliberately and directly against the energy sector. And it's not as if they came in and they did these things with some big plan to replace that with some form of green energy or anything else. They just came in and wiped it out. Like, they put an end to a very large portion of the energy sector with no replacement. Like, you don't do that without having some deliberate intent to fuck with prices and to create the situation that we have now. And then you see the pipeline hack. Like, it was the pipeline, and I already talked about it. The pipeline hack was too conveniently timed. It happened right after this abysmal jobs report that Biden came out with that showed that, yeah, if people have the option to sit at home and get more and make more off of unemployment than they would at their normal job, then they're going to do that. They're not going to go to work. And the jobs report showed that. And then to distract, I mean, I don't like getting into the conspiracy theory bullshit, but to distract from the fact that the jobs report was that abysmal, then we get this conveniently timed pipeline hack that disrupts, gas across the South and the East Coast. And then we get a meat plant hack. And I got to look more into it because I'm not understanding how that exactly works. But that disrupts the flow of food. You're going to start seeing more and more stuff coming out here over the next couple weeks and months as more information comes out about COVID and the complete bungling that the government was involved in with COVID and with its response to it, and how they very clearly fucked this whole thing right from the get-go. that Fauci is a complete fraud and that the government is incompetent, there are going to be more of these cyber attacks, these hacks, these different things that disrupt food supplies, that disrupt fuel, that disrupt life as we know it. And it all creates this state of panic and chaos for the average moron. And whether you realize it or not, the average moron makes up about 98% of the population. And they see all this and they freak out because they can't take care of themselves. And they turn to Uncle Sam and they ask for more. Please, take care of us. Lock us down more. Protect us more. Give us more police. Give us more military. Charge us more in taxes so that we can pay you to take care of us, because we can't do these things on our own. These people are fucking horrible. Right out there, that window is proof that you don't need a whole lot of space to definitely do it on your own. We have a large garden. We've got corn, corn, onions, tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, broccoli, lettuce, chives. Trying to think what else. Watermelons. We've got a blackberry, raspberry, fig, bush, grapevine. Out in our front yard, we got peach, pear, apple, plum, nectarine trees. I think I've got a rogue pumpkin plant growing somewhere in the front yard. We don't have a huge amount of space, and our garden does not take up an excessive amount of space. You can grow your own food. For all the morons that talk about how hunters don't need an AR-15, maybe not. But I do need a regular hunting rifle. And I have enough meat, deer meat, in our freezer right now to last us for a couple weeks. I can go hunting and kill everything we need to feed our family. And if you know how to season it and treat the meat properly, you don't even get the gamey flavor. It's not that difficult. If need be, as a family, we could be completely self-sufficient and not have a need for any of these. We don't need the government to take care of us. We don't need the grocery store. We don't need these things. We can provide for ourselves. Most people can't. Most people are dumb and useless. And I'm definitely afraid that the next 3, 4, 5 years is going to really show that. It's going to really show it. Because all this cyber attack, blaming Russia and China, creating this, they figured out that the fear state works. They did it after 9/11. They're doing it with COVID. If you drive fear through propaganda, people will bend over and say, please give it to us harder. Those people are fucking disgusting and should be ejected into outer space. That'll do it for today's episode. Sometime in the next week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, the Schoolyard Liberty pilot episode will be released. My son, Sean, and I got to sit down with Shane Hazel and his son, Jackson, and talk about just some general stuff. It was just a basic conversation to kind of set the table for what we were gonna kind of talk about and how the episodes were gonna go and stuff. And we all sat and spent about an hour just chit-chatting and talking about the show and different stuff. And out of that, we got some really good content for an episode. So I got the music today. getting the intros and outros put together and stuff, and making plans for episode 2, which will be which we'll record sometime in July. So like this thing is happening, and it's really exciting. It's a lot of fun. I'm super stoked about it. I'm more excited about doing that than I am about this. And this is just my little chance to run my mouth. But that is going to be something that I think, if done well and done properly, we have an opportunity to reach a younger generation and talk about the themes of liberty and other stuff that are stuff that's important to kids. History. There are so many topics that we can cover, and I'm really excited to do it. So tune in. Be sure to check that out. As soon as it releases, I'm going to drop it everywhere. And in the meantime, I hope everybody has a good rest of your week, and I will be back on Monday to talk about who knows. We'll see how the weekend goes. Have a good one.